After the 2023 governorship and state House of Assembly elections held across the country on Saturday, the 18th of March 2023. Governorship elections were held in 28 states across Nigeria, with 11 governors seeking re-election for a second term. The State House of Assembly election was also held across the 36 states, with 993 seats to be filled in the various states. Good morning and welcome to Election Watch. My name is Kolawole Akintoba, as we continue this morning to bring you live updates, in-depth analysis and breaking news on the elections as held yesterday. The collation of results is expected to commence effectively across the 36 states this morning. We have our correspondents standing by in Warri and in Benue State. We have Dele Fason in Warri and in Asaba, I beg your pardon, and Gabriel Odia standing by in Benue State with live updates for us this morning. Good morning, Dele, and good morning, Gabriel.
Good morning.
Yes, Dele, let me come to you first. We have reports that 10 Beavers machines were snatched in Baramatu Kingdom, southwest local government of Delta State yesterday. Give us an update on that and what's happening at the Collation Center.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. As you can see, I'm at the State Collation headquarters where we're expecting results from the 25 local government areas. About 2, that's Ika, Northeast, and Annual Charlotte. Results sheet are waiting, the returning officers are waiting for INEC and other officials to come for commencement. But first, let me take you to your first question here in Baramatu. Precisely in the Kukuruza, headquarters of Baramatu Kingdom, the Warri Southwest local government area, where the 10 Beavers machines were found missing after the completion of the election yesterday night. The officers were about leaving the coastal region where they discovered it went missing. Even in the face of the security operatives, everybody there, they were looking for it, but they could not see it. And yesterday at the INEC Collation headquarters where I am now, we put the question to the Resident Electoral Commissioner, who told us that they are still working on how to retrieve the materials, that the security operatives are in top gear to ensure that the materials are retrieved. And this morning, early this morning again, not only we even learned that other people ever mentioned from the Federal Constituency Unit 2, where the Deputy Senate President and the candidate for the APC hails from, that about 4 Beavers machines were also discovered missing. That amounts to about 14 Beavers machines that were declared missing. They are still looking for it and don't know what the security agents are still working on it to ensure that they recover those machines. And despite the protests in those areas, they could not see the machine. That's the situation on that Beavers machine. But right now, we are still waiting for the state returning officer at the Collation Center and other security operatives to come for the commencement of the collation. They had earlier told us yesterday that it will commence by 8 a.m. And by my time now, it's exactly 18 minutes, 8 a.m. Nothing has happened here. Now you can see the seat behind me here is just still empty, waiting for them. And as they come, I'll get that over to you. Over to you, ladies.
Minutes past 8 a.m. Very briefly, let me ask you to look at the situation across the polling units you visited yesterday in terms of the turnout of voters. Give us your observations as you monitored the elections yesterday.
Thank you very much. Most of the polling units visited, the incident of voter apathy experience in major polling units. One of the biggest polling units here in FMC Igwe Primary School, where we usually have over 2,000 voters. We found out that just a few voters were just trickling in, their numbers weren't just like that. We spoke with a lot of them, like most of the leading observers of the National Institute of Public and Strategic Studies in Kuru, just made us understand that most voters did not come out as a plan, just because of what they experienced during the presidential election, and they had to wait for as long as 1 p.m. before accreditation. Situation was different this time around because a major polling units visited. The accreditation and voting exercise started exactly in the problem. Only challenge they had there was the voter apathy, which was recorded in the major metropolis in Asaba, the state capital. Major polling units visited here. That's the same experience here because they even allowed voters to wait there. It was supposed to close for 2:30 p.m. In most cases, they had to leave it open till about 3:30. Maybe voters will come, but those voters, the coalition of results ends yesterday.
What do you think was responsible for this?
Hello? Yes,
I was asking, yes.
Okay, if you can, yeah.
What do you think was responsible for the
yes.
low turnout of voters yesterday?
Yes. The observers, started talking about the Transparency International observers we spoke with, and the NIPSS, and even voters we spoke with. What they made us understand was that there was anger, they say the presidential election that was not concluded, IREC portal of the INEC. That was why most of them say that anger is still there. That's why most of them refused to turn up to cast their vote. Say because uploading it, INEC had earlier promised them that it will be uploaded to the presidential election, and to be uploaded through their IREC portal. But since it did not go well that way, so they decided to stay away, not to come and see waste that time, and they've lost confidence in the electoral umpire. So that's one of the major reasons, majority of it. That was what they said led to most electorate staying away from polling units.
Right. So, in terms of the performance of beavers, let's look at that. Aside from the fact that 10 beavers machines were reported to have been stolen in some part of Delta State yesterday, what was your assessment in terms of the performance of the beavers machine?
I'll tell you, in over 90% of the polling units yesterday within Asaba Metropolis, and even in Buso, which is about 10 minutes drive from Asaba here, majority of the beavers machine worked perfectly. It really worked perfectly to the extent that the technicians that were there to ensure that they fixed any beavers that malfunction did not have anything yesterday, because most of the beavers machines, immediately they did their accreditation and voting in this metropolis, everything went perfectly well. So that was the major reason that voting and accreditation ends immediately, even despite the low turnout of voters. So the machine worked perfectly. There was no complaint compared to the presidential election, where they have to reconfigure and call for technicians to make sure things work perfectly well. So the beavers body, part of the beavers machine, I think it was the kudos to INEC on that part.
Faso, thank you very much for that update from Asaba in Delta State. We hope to get to speak to you much later this morning when collation of results will start at the collation center. Thank you very much, Dele. That was our correspondent, Dele Fason, giving us that update. We'll be right back and we'll take you to Benue State, where Gabriel Odia is standing by. Election Watch on Galaxy Television, as we continue to bring you live updates on the elections as held yesterday across the country. Very quickly, we'll take you to Benue State and also Kaduna, where correspondents Gabriel Odia and Bosan Yakusaka standing by with this update. Good morning, Bosan, and good morning, Gabriel. Right. Gabriel, let me come quickly to you and give us your update from Benue.
First and foremost, as you can see, I am at I am at the center, the coalition center, where all results from the various constituencies will be trickling in for the final. Behind me, that's the structure, that's the building of the coalition center, and in this place, the coalition was started by 10 o'clock this morning. And let me also say that so far, from what we have witnessed yesterday, it was generally peaceful, apart from the voter apathy which took place yesterday, because there was this low turnout of electoral ballots. So apart from that, we also had some concerns in some part of the local government where there were issues of violence and what have you. But that apart, the entire exercise was peaceful and Dr. George very credible, despite some few skirmishes in part of the state. But besides that, everything has gone well. In Makurdi Metropolis, we have not had any violence as we speak, except maybe for some areas that has been at the INEC, the electoral commissioner has postponed 2 constituencies in Kwande local government areas.
But basically, what are you hearing in terms of, I also asked Dele Fason, who is in Delta, what was responsible for the low turnout of voters yesterday. In Benue, what do you think was responsible? Or do we just assume it's a general thing?
Well, okay, what we can attribute that to is one, the issue of the financial crunch, because many people couldn't travel to their various destinations, even though they had wanted to travel. They didn't have the money to travel because they had gone to their banks, ATMs, to see if they can get money, but they couldn't get. And apart from that, again, some other electorate who also spoke to also said they were not going to come out to vote because the last election that they came out to vote with all their mind, they felt very bad the outcome of that result. So that was why they decided to come out this time around to also decide their part. Apart from the financial crunch, the other part was that they are not comfortable and they are not happy with the last outcome of the elections. That was why they have refused to come out because they felt that their vote would not count, and that is why today they didn't come out to cast their votes.
To ask you to bring us up to speed on the postponement of the governorship and State House of Assembly elections in 2 constituencies of Kwande East and West local government. We hear it's due to some printer error. Bring us up to speed on that. What is INEC saying?
Okay, let us take you back. A couple of days ago, the electoral commissioner spoke to us and agreed that in 10 local government, in 5 local government areas of the state, about 10 polling units will not be voting those 10 polling because they don't have registers in that areas, and so those areas do not be voting. But as yesterday, when the voting they discovered that in Kwande East and in Kwande West, they had the issue of printers errors where names from Kwande West were found in Kwande East, the names from Kwande East were found in Kwande West, and so a lot of the people were abnormally, and it also led to some few tensions, and that tension also led to brought them to the palace of and they went there to discuss this issue and how whether to continue with the election or not to continue. But that resolved to be postponed. And so at yesterday evening also issued a statement that election has been postponed to accommodate for a new print of new registers or new ballot paper. Names that were found in the ballot materials were not from those constituencies, and so they had to, juggle this and see what they can do. At the end of the day, they felt that the best bet for them to do was to postpone the election and reschedule for another date, which has not been communicated. As soon as that is done, they will let us know, and that's the shot they both took in that area. And so, when that date is announced, a fresh election will be conducted in those 2 areas.
Let's quickly go to Kaduna, where Bosan is standing by. Good morning, Bosan. Yes, quickly bring us up to speed on the situation in Kaduna.
Yes, sir. Right behind me is the INEC Collation Center where we're expecting results that should be in 10 a.m. this morning. So journalists are already here awaiting results announcements. But as at yesterday, we had several issues that happened in regards to the general elections that took place with the House of Assemblies and the governorship elections. Yesterday, first of all, we had issues of overvoting. In some polling units, we had issues where when results were collated, they realized that the people that they accredited were less than the people that voted were more than the people that were accredited. So that means there were issues of overvoting. Secondly, we had issues with uploading of results from polling units, whereby INEC ad hoc staff, they were adamant towards uploading results from polling units, but citizens stood their ground, and some of those results were able to be uploaded from the polling unit. But in some polling units, they did not upload results from polling units. But then we had issues of INEC ad hoc staff. I don't know whether it was because of lack of training or they were not able to know what to do, in terms of sending results from their polling unit. So that was a major challenge. We had that issue in Kaduna South, particularly in the polling unit in television. So that particular polling unit, we are not able to upload results because of inability of the Beavers machine to send in the results from the polling unit. We also had issues of a PO being attacked in a particular local government. It's called Jaba local government. In that particular local government, the PO was and then carted away by the thugs that attacked him. So we also had issues of brace papers, for the persons living with disability. In fact, that issue was almost everywhere. Almost every polling unit we went to, and we asked for brace paper for persons living with disability, for them to be able to vote. They did not provide brace papers for them to vote. So persons living with disability will have to use somebody for the person to help them and vote. And this election was supposed to be a secret ballot paper. So for a secret ballot election, so for somebody to interfere in the election of one, it was an issue. So we realized that in Kaduna, and then we asked the resident electoral commissioner, the acting, why they were not able to provide brace paper for persons living with disability, because INEC had assured Nigerians that they would make adequate provisions for persons living with disability to be able to exercise their franchise without any form of interference. We believe that INEC should be able to come up with answers to this, and they should be able to provide this in terms of making is done for every Nigerian, irrespective of whether you are a person living with disability or not. So that was an issue, and we are still challenging INEC on why these brace papers were not provided for persons living with disability, that they will have to make use of somebody to help them and cast their vote, which is not supposed to be done.
Go back to Benue State. Gabriel, let me ask you, what is INEC saying about the situation in Kwande, East and West, regarding the postponement of the elections there, and how will this impact on the final results?
Let's just say that the INEC has yet to come up with a date, a formal date where the election in that areas will be conducted, because since yesterday they were still holding meetings, and they were still meeting to deliberate on a particular day when this election will take place. But of course, particularly on the two issues, the Kwande East and the Kwande West constituencies, I'm very sure that hopefully by today or before the day runs out, they will be telling us exactly when the date has been fixed for the election. But of course, Yes, I must also say that the REC is very concerned about what has happened because they felt that people did not to be disenfranchised. And so that aspect will be communicated to us today, perhaps during the collation of the result or when the results are being coming in gradually. So I feel that it's one thing that it's almost concerned in their mind at this point in time.
I also want you to still shed more light on that. How will, if elections are not held in the next few days, how will this impact on the final announcement of the results? Will there be any major impact in terms of the number of votes undecided in those two local governments?
Well, from the look of it appears that INEC will have to decide on that much more later because we don't know what the outcome of the final result will be from the ones that have been trickling in already on the various constituencies that we are beginning to see because some are yet to arrive from the various constituencies and some have also come in yesterday and some are still coming in this morning. But we are hoping that before the results are collated or announced, possibly one will also be seeing what the REC will be saying with regards to that action, because I cannot actually confirm or see if actually because that's yesterday, but they had resolved that the election should continue with the manual registers, but some of them felt that no, it shouldn't continue. They should do it. It should be postponed for a new date. And so we don't want to. I don't believe, or I don't know if they will resort to the old register or to the previous one, the previous vote, or they will have to wait till a new one is conducted before they can announce the final result. That is what is not clear with us at the moment.
Also, can you update us on the collation of results following yesterday's elections? When is INEC supposed to kickstart that in Kaduna?
Yes, journalists are already expecting results to start coming because INEC has said that as early as 10 a.m. today they will start collation of results. So, but they said that they are still expecting most of the result from some local government that are a bit far distance from the INEC office. But as early as 10 a.m. we're expecting collation of results to commence here because they are saying that they've already gotten 1 or 2 results from some local government. So we're already here. We're expecting them to end of result by 10 a.m.
Gabriel, also let me ask you briefly to tell us. So when are we likely to start monitoring the collation of results in Benue State?